It's been a while. Um, I won't make excuses. Well, I guess I will make some excuses. Um, the editing software that I started off with only had 3 days of free editing, so I wasn't able to keep editing the videos that I shot. So yes, they will be coming. I do have a couple of pathology related videos, a couple of what I think is funny vet medicine related videos as well, um, about tech school and actual doctor of veterinary medicine um, schooling. But it's going to take a while because the vision I have for them does include editing, and I don't have the money right now to buy an editing software. So I guess today was kind of catching you up on the reason why I hadn't put out any video, because it seemed that when I first started, I was all like gung ho about doing this, and no, I'm still wanting to do it. I just don't have the means to do it right now. So this video is actually going to be my attempt to see how it goes at just doing one take video, and with all the awkwardness in between as well. So, but life doesn't have an edit button, so awkwardness or not, here it goes. So today I wanted to talk about veterinary medicine education, because I've been through the veterinary technology diploma stream. I've also been through, well, halfway through the veterinary medicine, doctor of veterinary medicine college. So even though every school is different, I feel like oftentimes um, the experiences that you have and how difficult things can be, the good and the bad, are probably very similar. So that's what today is going to be out. It's going to be the good, the bad, and the ugly, kind of the veterinary medicine. And so might make some people laugh who are or have been in that stream. It might make you feel, hey, I'm not the only one, or it might give you an idea for if you're interested in going into that. So I guess the overall idea here, oh, my cat just fell. The overall idea here is how to succeed without pulling all of your air, plus some extra from your patients. We don't really we want everybody to survive with all their hair. So it's kind of a interesting thing, because oftentimes when you first begin pretty much anything, it doesn't have to be veterinary medicine, when you first begin your journey, you kind of feel like you don't know anything. And it's sometimes very discouraging because you feel like you don't know anything for a really long time. And people are telling you that you do know things, and you feel like, no, I don't. Don't trust me. I don't know anything. Um, but it's a very satisfying moment when you finally realize you've made it in a certain skill or subject. Um, and it will happen, you know, uh, at the time it really feels like you don't know anything and you'll never get it together, but it does happen, and everybody has their light bulb moment at different times, and different skills might take different time for everybody. But that rush of finally making it and actually having of doing something right, and it sounds really silly. Oh no, I'm doing something, doing something right and feeling proud for it. But you have to be proud of um, your little advances and your little success. And learning and mastering a new skill, especially in veterinary medicine, where a lot of times a skill is completely new and you don't have anything to compare it to or something to build up from it. So it can be very difficult, um, and not everybody is skilled in the same ways. So giving yourself some time to accept that and to practice is very important. Um, One thing that they never really tell you, they always tell you, when you're doing your undergrad, oh, well, the closer you get to what you want to do, the more interesting the classes are. And it's true, but unfortunately, you're still going to have dry, boring classes. Even when you're in vet school or in vet tech school, and that was your aim, that was what you always wanted to do, you're still going to struggle through some classes. And the long hours of the classes, the studying, the project, the assignments, um, it's going to be a lot. And at the time, it might be a little discouraging because you finally reach your dream and your goal, and it's not quite what you expected it to be. It's a lot harder, or it's a lot more boring, and you start second guessing, oh, am I really supposed to be here? Is this really what I wanted to do? Everybody goes through that. So don't feel like you're the odd one out, and don't feel like just because you're finding it difficult or you're finding it boring, that means that you don't have your place where you're at. The amount of time that you're going to have to put into this and the amount of information you're going to need to retain is phenomenal. It's really too much. So very often these classes and these programs do expect a lot of you, and they kind of sometimes expect too much out of you. But the professors do know this, and they want to work with you. Your peers know this, and you're going to have to realize that you're going to have to really schedule yourself, and you're going to have to consciously realize you can't know everything. There is no such thing as knowing everything. There is very little time. There's not really a lot of times that you're going to be able to do 100% on something, because it would almost be dangerous to have only in mind that you want to get 100% on something, because then you get into that whole thing of cramming, which is not right. You need to understand this veterinary medicine is different in a way that animals' lives depend on you not only knowing things, but also realizing when you don't know something, and then you have to look it up and you have to, get some help. So wanting to 100% everything on your own is not the way to go, and it's something that you're gonna have to realize and internalize at your own pace, but it is something you're gonna need to do. Kind of segue from that is, the realization that you're not perfect, and the realization that you need to reach out and get help sometimes. That does go also into your mental health. At some point, when you get into a profession school, such as the vet tech program or the doctor of veterinary medicine program, you realize, and sometimes, different people have this realization at different times. You realize you're not perfect. You're not great. It's not going to be easy your entire life kind of thing. And some people, some students, they've breezed through their lives. They've breezed through high school. They've breezed through undergrad. Maybe a graduate class at some point if they did do that, or classes or something like that, or work. Vet school is going to be different. It's going to hit different people at different times. But the key here is to not take it as a flaw of yourself. You can't let that shake your core. It can't shake who you are. You can't lose yourself as a person because you're no longer able to keep yourself at the standard that you were at. It's very important, I guess, to find things outside of being 100% on things, and find your individuality or who you are in what you do, and not necessarily the end product of what you do. So mental health is a really important thing in general for everybody, but it's also very important in any kind of studying or school that is very high intensity. And I feel various medical schools are very high intensity, and it will push you to the extreme and to the limit of your mental health. And there is no shame in seeking out help. Um, I've done so. I've been, over the last 5 years, I've been in and out of counseling for mental health. Um, and that is one thing that I've always spearheaded, not only for myself, but for my peers when I see that sometimes they're struggling. I want people to reach out for help. And there is no shame in reaching out for help. It doesn't mean that you are weak. It actually means that you realize that there are some things that you need help with. There are certain things that, um, yeah, that you can't do it on your own. And if there's anything that is worth reaching out for, is your mental health, because it doesn't matter what else you have. You might be in good physical health. You might be top of your class. That really doesn't mean anything. If you don't have your mental health, you don't have anything. And it doesn't mean I'm gonna make an entire video on mental health and um, anxiety and depression in the vet world. It is a very, very hot topic when it comes to veterinary science. Um, so that's definitely something that I'm going to touch on because I do have some experiences in that. But this is not the video for it. This is just a general video about stuff like that. So I do have 5 tips, and I'm going to end this video with these 5 tips. Um, and I will make a video going more into detail with these 5 tips if I see that there is um, interest for it, which means that it might take maybe months or even years before I even get feedback on this video. But here it goes. So my tip 1 is to stay on top of things. And that goes for not just your studying, but your personal life. Staying on top of things means that even though you don't have that midterm for another month, you should be reviewing it, because repetition is a very good thing to do. This is the only way really that I know of that you can retain things, put them in permanent memory or long-term memory. And staying on top of things also mean that for diet, for exercising, for mental health, and like socializing, you can't just say, oh, I'll take care of that, or I'll start next week. No, today is the only day you have. Today is a day that you need to do something. So my tip 2 is to stay organized, and one way to stay on top of things is to stay organized. You need to prioritize your things. Today, what is the most important thing for you to do today? Is it your health? Is it your nutrition? Working out? Is it, finishing that anesthesia pre-reading that you need to do for tomorrow? Or do you have a test that you're really, might be in 2 weeks, but you've been struggling with that particular subject? So it's really important to know yourself. So it's very hard to prioritize things when you're first starting a semester. But once you're very aware of where your strengths are and on the subjects, or maybe your health, in that semester, and your tendencies, prioritizing becomes a very important tool to tackle that semester. My tip 3 is to allow yourself some downtime, kind of going with your prioritization as well. You need to put yourself first once in a while, if not all the time. But, I know some people have a hard time with that. But to have some downtime not only helps you with your mental health and your physical health, but it also helps you with your studying. A lot of people don't understand that a brain is not really meant to be full on, 100% on something for long periods of time. You need that downtime. And I usually tell people, if you study for an hour, you take a 10-minute break, you get up, you stretch, take a potty break, drink something. Usually water is better than alcoholic beverages, but I do not judge anyone at this point. So 9 years into studying, I think there's a couple of times where I kind of need a beer at this point. But you really do need, and then after, a 3-4 hour study session, take at least a 30-minute, if not an hour. You will be refreshed coming back from that hour of downtime, whereas that is going for a walk, going for a short workout, eating well, and making yourself a really good lunch or supper, or catching up with your favorite TV show. You need to take those down times. Trust me, it helps. At first it doesn't seem like it helps all that much, but at the end of your semester, you will see the difference. You're very much less likely to burn out if you do allow yourself some time to be you, to breathe, to live, to realize that, yeah, like light is starting to go down at around 8 o'clock. Oh, when that happened? Oh no, it's already, 2 weeks before the finals. Tip 4, make sure you eat well. I already mentioned it, but food is incredibly important. Your brain can't work on just, you know, junk. It needs, it, you know, your body in general needs all the essential vitamins and nutrients. Your brain needs sugar and water. You need to stay hydrated. You need to stay on top of your nutrition for sure. And then tip 5 is to find someone. And this can be a classmate, a significant other, a family, a friend, but you need to find someone who doesn't mind or who encourages you and makes you feel comfortable unloading on them once in a while. And that can be, frustration of how much you have to study. It can be something as silly as someone in the class kind of, rubbed you the wrong way, or it can be something as serious as you had to euthanize your first patient, or you had to, tell a client that their dog has cancer, or you had to do, something, something that really does, that everyone has to go through. Every veterinary student or veterinary technician student has to go through that, but you don't need to have that, all on your shoulders and carry that on your own. Kind of goes back to me talking about mental health. It really is important to have that one person who will support you and who will be there to listen to you when you have those bad days. So this has been really long. I actually don't think I can post this because it's too long. So I'm probably gonna have to redo this. This is really sad. Or maybe I'll just post it at another point. But either way, thanks for listening. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't ever hesitate to let me know about them. And I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Bye.